Alright, I need to tell this story because I'm feeling super traumatized and I just need to get it out. Today, Riley and the boys and I were at Mount Trashmore, and we had walked from the playground over the hill to the little side where the lake is, and there was a community event happening. The boys saw some inflatable stuff happening, so we got really excited. We went down there to see what was going on. We were told we got to wait about 20 minutes until we could play on it. So we decided, all right, let's take a little walk and we'll go back. Well, as we turned around, we turned to face the lake, and I see that there's someone swimming in the lake, and it's super abnormal because nobody swims in that lake. I can barely see the head. But then I noticed that there's 6 or 7, maybe 8 cops standing on the shore of the lake surrounding this person who's out there. And so I'm like, look, Riley, look, there's someone in the lake and that there's cops. And so she says, oh, let's go see that. And so, but to be nosy, we walk over to go see what's going on. And as we're walking up, it gets a little more alarming, and I realize that like this man is drowning. And so I start to run towards the scene, towards the shore, and because it seems like none of the cops are doing anything about it. They're just standing and watching, and this man is like flailing his arms in the air. And so I start running towards the shore, and I start dropping all my stuff out of my pockets, and I'm fully dressed, and I start dropping all my stuff out of my pockets, and progressively losing more and more stuff. And I arrive to the shore, and I'm like, that man is drowning. Screaming. The cops say, stand back, get back, we got it. And he's the guy, as they say that to me, the guy starts screaming, help. And I just react, and I take my shoes off super fast, and I run past all the cops, and I jump in the water and swim out to this man, who's a black man. And when I get out to him, probably 20 or 30 feet out in the water, I realize he's 180, 200 pounds, significantly larger than I am. But he's drowning, and I get there, and he immediately dunks me under the water because he's freaking out. And I kick off of him, and I turn around, and as I turn around, I'm looking towards the road, and I see a ton of cops flying in. And so I turn back around, and as I turn back around to face this man, I see another cop swimming towards me, or a cop swimming towards me. Finally, the only cop who has reacted thus far. And so I put my arm underneath of this man's armpit, and I start swimming backwards towards shore. And the cop catches up to me, and he starts to help me. He says, I got it. I say, no, I'm here with you. And I start helping get this man out of the water. And as we get closer to the shore, the man goes unconscious. Well, we get him to the shore, and as we're pulling him out of the water, he flips over face first into the mud. And as I've let go of his body and he drops into the mud, a cop pulls handcuffs out and puts handcuffs on this man. And I walk past, all the other cops swarm in and swarm on top of this man. I walk past out of the situation and turn back around really quickly to be like, hey, that man is unconscious, we need to give him CPR. They're putting him under arrest. And I turn around, and one of the cops has his knee on the back of this guy's head and is screaming, stop resisting, when I know for a fact that this man is unconscious. And I go to approach the cop and say, yo, he's unconscious. The cop pushes me away and puts his knee back on the back of this man's head. Well, he slams this man's head into the mud and then puts his knee back onto his head and continues to scream, stop resisting. And so somehow, some way, this man wakes up and starts screaming, I'm not resisting, I can't breathe, please sir, I can't breathe, I'm sorry, I can't breathe, please. And they finally get this man under arrest, and they get me away from the scene. And one of the cops that just arrived on the scene approaches me, and it's a lady cop, and she says to me, this man we were in pursuit of this man, he was fleeing, that's why they were telling you to get away, thank you for what you've done, has anybody got any information, blah blah blah. They took all in, and that's about that. Like, they let me go, and no one said, like, a few people came up to me and said good job, and that, you know, like, way to go, like, thanks for reacting, you saved that man's life. But I'm just absolutely baffled that they were going to let this man drown, and not a single cop was doing anything about it at all. Like, I had enough time to walk from the bottom of Mount Trashmore to pretty close to the lake before I started running and swimming into the water and then saving this man. And regardless of if this man is on the run, if he's a fugitive, if he's a felon, if he's a murderer, he was drowning, and these cops were just going to let him drown and not do anything about it. So that, who knows why, but why did it take a civilian jumping into the water for them to react and only one cop to come and help me? And I truly have no idea, like, how to process this or what to think about it. And my boys watched it, my girlfriend watched it, a bunch of regular passerbys watched it, and like, it just, I'm absolutely baffled.